Hello tubesters, take 3. Got a barking pup who's obviously seen a cat downstairs. Right, here we go. Final reveal of Eduards 1:72 scale FW190. I'm going to have to look down on this to make sure I've got the right variant. Yes, it is the A-8 and stroke R2. It's taken me a while. I've just been tootling along in the background with this one and throwing the odd update up. I think there's been 2 when I felt there's been something to show on it. As far as I'm concerned, it's all done. It's not brilliant. It's only my one. I did the Starfighter, which was my very first ever venturing back into scale model making. Did the Starfighter, which happens to be my favourite jet aircraft. That is in a plastic box to remind me that one day I'll get better. The whole idea is a couple of years down the line I go, oh, look how far I've improved. So yeah, that was a 1:72 scale Starfighter. I did the 1:48 scale Airfix Sea Fury, which no fault of Airfix, is just mine, just stuffed it up completely, wasn't happy with it, and in the bin that went. And also I've got another one, which I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, which should be on show in the next couple of days. So just wait for that one. The foil project, that's just a mule for the practicing the foil on, and I will though be getting another 1:48 scale aircraft. Whether it's probably will be another Mustang, but it could just as well be. I love the F86 Sabre and some of the others, so we'll see. But it will be I will completely foil an aircraft and paint it and things like that. This little fella, lots of improvements, I believe. Still lots to improve on. The paint, as I say, I can't stop at the moment getting that rough feeling to my paint. I'm not sure if that's because I'm not getting close enough, or if I'm not wetting the paint on enough. I think, like a lot of new guys do airbrushing, in the early days I was getting a lot of either I was thinning the paint too, I don't know, but I was getting a lot of runs and things like that, and so I tend to get a bit nervous now and move it away, and maybe that's the paint's drying out before it's really hitting the aircraft or tank, whatever. Tanks, it's not so important, because by the time you've added on all the other bits you're going to throw onto it, it's not too bad. But the aircrafts, they're a bit like cars in my opinion. You've got to be on top of your painting game to get the best out of them. Decals, because I'd done the rough texture on the paint, I knew I was going to get some silver in. Although I'd put gloss paint down, I've still ended up with some silver in. Not on everything, just on a few bits and pieces. Again, my decals improved by putting the gloss down, and then I put another gloss coat on, and then I even put another matte coat over the well, yeah, a matte coat. I've even lost how many things I've done with it, and I've put some oil paint streaking and weathering over the top of that. So as I say, I'm looking down at it now on the bench, and for my third aircraft, something like that, it's I'm not beating myself up over it. As I say, there's a lot to learn. The filling could have been better. There was hardly much filling to be done on it, to be fair, and I used just the normal putties on that. I've now started to use the CA glue with a bit of talcum powder in. I did on the other aircraft I've been building, and that's still I've still got to practice on that really, but that's for the other aircraft. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So yeah, just bear in mind, guys, I don't know if I'm officially supposed to, as in I'm expected by YouTube to say it every time, but I will do. If there's a swastika on, I believe in getting the historical miniature, like the how the aircraft flew, so I will put a swastika on it. If you're offended by swastikas, and let's face it, why wouldn't we be, but for historical purposes, that's got to go on this aircraft. I'm not leaving them off. It's historical aircraft, so if in your country you're not allowed to watch them, or if you're just offended by it, don't go any farther. Just know that I've built the aircraft. So thanks for that. As I say, it's just I'm not going to stuff around, you know, pretending they're not on there and things, and blotting them out with paint and all the rest of it. It's they flew with them on, so they're on. Right, guys, join me at the bench and we'll take a look. Right, guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Here's the little Anton in all his or her glory. This one was a profipack edition, which I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video. So it comes with the photo etch, seatbelt set and cockpit set. It comes with a set of masks, which I managed to stuff up completely and ended up just masking it myself. Well, the front windscreen, if I can just find a pointy stick. The front windscreen that I managed to do. Still got some little bit of underspray. But the rear one, I don't know what went wrong. I mean, I used the majority of it, but I still had to go around with more of my own tape. It's a learning curve for Gav. As I say, this is only my third one, so you know, I'm not going to beat myself up over it too much. Right, let's see. Now it's going to be a bit more lighter. Is this going to help, or I don't know if that helps or not. It's obviously showing a lot lighter under the lights than it should be. As I say, this is I was going to do green 3 with the armoured windscreen on. I've ended up doing red 1 instead because I stuffed up the armoured windscreen. Luckily they give you a lot of choices. It's got the red band for defending the Reich, for defending Germany and that area, obviously home defence, let's call it. Well, we'll go on the top first. So what we'll just cover stuff ups first. Major stuff up. Let's see if we can get in closer. As we can see, that dirty great big gap on the front of the windscreen. I really am at the moment struggling putting these on. The other aircraft I've been making has had roughly the same, not as bad, but it still doesn't look pucker on there. It doesn't look neat, and that's a shame really, because you know I've done my best as I can on this, and it detracts from it really. But you know, as I say, it's a learning curve, but that's something I'd like to have done better. Let's just turn it around. Ooh, that's it, and break everything, Gav. We'll go on to the undercarriage in a bit. And again on this side, maybe if I'd filled this, I'd left all this off, you see, and I didn't want to. Yeah, I have put a bit of slither of plastic card in there before I painted it, but it's. As I say, I'm not claiming that to be a fault of the kit. That's all probably down to me. So that's a bit of a stuff up. These are obviously decals here, and on the other side, this one isn't so bad, but on the other side I've actually gone as far as covering the exhaust ports up. The exhaust ports are recessed behind the cowling, so you don't really see them unless you're looking right the way down the front of the aircraft, so it's not a huge biggie, but something that I should have got better. I decided to stick the photo etch because it got other bits of photo etch apart from the cockpit. You get the little foot stand here, and there's a radio, is it DF or whatever they call it, loop antenna under here, which I've completely bust up. And there was also another radio antenna going down. I decided to put them on. I knew I'd end up breaking them. I decided to put them on because I thought that because of a photo etch I'd get them all primed and all that good stuff, you know, so I'd make them integral to the aircraft rather than try and stick them on afterwards. It didn't really work. And that's the only one I've got left. I then I thought, right, well, you get the plastic options in the kit, I'll stick the plastic ones on and bust those off as well. They just wouldn't, they really needed drilling in, and I wasn't going to drill in through the paint at that stage. So that's that. But apart from that, I mean, filling wise, there is a seam down the centre of the aircraft where the red band is. That is supposed to be there from what I've seen on my line drawings. I've got a couple of books on the FW190, and that seam seems to be what's shown on the drawings anyway. So for once I didn't have to go too heavy on that. As I say, paint, is, I can feel it now even doing that, that's still really rough, you know, not brilliant. The one thing I haven't done is fade out slightly the back of the cowling here on the canopy. I should have maybe put some stuff on, but I've only literally glued that on an hour or so ago. What else have we got that could probably done better? Yeah, you can see some silvering on this. I found some of the very smaller decals, not down to the decals, just down to me applying them, but they've silvered on top of this red band. The red band was obviously, as you can see, painted by me. Yes, it's not perfect, but it's for about the fourth or fifth time I've tried to do some type of demarcation with masking tape, and it's the first time it hasn't actually bled out, which again was a victory in the building process and how to learn how to do things. A fair bit of stencils on this. I didn't realise such a little aircraft had so many. A couple I've missed off. It would normally have a serial number on the tail here. I did completely stuff that up, again my own fault, so I've left it off rather than give it a different number. I thought, well, you know, it's supposed to be a particular aircraft, so let's not put the other one on. We can see somebody was saying, I was listening to the Interesting Modelling Company chat the other day, and they were saying about, or a couple of weeks ago, and they're saying about the photo etched seat belts that, you know, they preferred the fabric ones because obviously they've got a bit more natural buckling and movement in them. But they might have been talking about larger scale aircraft, but I really like these coloured photo etched ones. I really think it picks up the cockpit. Now, this goes, you can't even see really under there. Maybe you can. I've got right underneath, it's all coloured photo etch, but you can't see any of it. But I know it's there, so I'm happy with that. But those seat belts really do it just gives a bit of, you know, especially with an open canopy, it just gives it something a bit more special. You know, I couldn't obviously do that with tape. Or if I could, I couldn't do the buckles, not make them look any good anyway. So yeah, that's the top. So yeah, we've got some silvering. The dreaded swastika's not too bad. The Balkan Crosses, the red one. This guy here could have, that's obviously got a bit of carrier film around it, and I think that's come down fairly well. These are obviously just the white crosses. So they've got a lot of carrier film in the middle. I think they were always going to silver, unless you've been doing it a while. I think I was always going to struggle with that. Putting the red walking areas around, well, I don't know if they're actually walking areas or telling you where the gun ports are. I don't know. But anyway, that is not straight, as we can see. Again, it's a first attempt. It's a very, very, very thin sections of decal. It's not obviously not one big piece, and that was a bit of a nightmare to get down. Again, as a more or less newbie, really doing this type of thing. I'm really pleased with the spinner. The first one, luckily you get about 4 different spinners for different aircraft. This wasn't the original one, but I don't really think when I looked at it you could tell any real difference. And they're not easy to put down. As I say, I completely crinkled the first one up, and it did give me about 5 attempts until it finally gave up the ghost and crinkled up to nothing. But this one I think's gone fairly well. I said it before, and I think just remember, I only knew by reading up on my books when I was looking into this, your blades on these Fokker Wolves were wooden, not metal, so you know, don't do the metal chips. I decided I was going to do some metal chipping on this, and I just thought I've got so much going on with this, it's quite busy. I'll actually leave off the metal chips for now. The cannon barrels are the kit pieces. See, there's a slight shine when you move that. Not that you'd be moving it really a lot. Wheels are completely stuffed up. I just thought the one thing that you always do this on a video. I've said this is finished. I haven't done any lights on the wings that normally have, but you can see I've got them. They've got the Fokker Wolf 190s. You guys know has a really wide undercarriage anyway, which is one of the things I've always thought was a really good design with this. It could take a lot of weight, and operate from a lot more rougher airfields than maybe the narrow, again, as if I'm some expert, but I would have thought the more narrow undercarriage of the 109, like the Spitfire, makes it a bit more problematical on the ground, where this one could really take some abuse on rough and ready airfields. Underneath, not a lot to show. I've done again streaking, which you can just about see under the lights. Again, these crosses, bearing in mind they have had some oil paint to go over the top of them as well in places, just to fade them slightly, and put streaking on. So you know, I wouldn't be too harsh on some of that. I mean, I've managed to get straight down the centre with that one for some reason, but that's fine. Done a bit of effects again from where the cartridges would be ejected out of from the cannon. Again, the wheels, really bad effort. I'm not happy with the wheels. I did try and redo them, not so angled and that, but I just couldn't get it. So I'm living with that. As I say, it is what it is. I'm learning. I don't mind pulling myself up on things that have gone wrong and hopefully improve them on another build. Over the years, I'll probably build a few Focke-Wulf 190s. As I say, for out the most of the German aircraft, I like the flying boats and the seaplanes a lot, but out of all the German aircraft, it's probably my favourite. I just think it's a real pugnacious and stylish, and I actually prefer this radial than, I like radial engines, and I prefer this than the longer nosed with the Jumo engine in for the Dora. I've not gone overboard on exhaust staining. I'll just let it contour down. So yeah, that's it really. I'll hopefully get a few photographs at the end. It's not, you know, it's not a build that's worth so it's not really worthy of photographs, but just in case the lights aren't, you know, bleaching out too much for you. So yeah, that's Eduards 1/72 scale FW190 A-8 stroke R2. As I say, I've got another one to show in the next couple of days. It's a bit different from this one, and at some stage, as I say, I'm still carrying on with the foil project. That's, as I say, that's just learning really how to get that foil down a bit more, better than I've done in some of the early bits I put on where it's crinkled up a bit. So I'll probably foil that whole aircraft before I actually get round to actually purchasing another model. Yeah, I'll definitely be doing more aircraft as well. I enjoy, as I say, sea, air and land. I'm not really tied into one particular subject. I just enjoy building them and recreating history really. So and that, when I say history, I mean up to the modern times. So guys, look after yourselves. I can't thank you enough for supporting the channel the way you do. It's really kind of you. As I say, my figure painting, you know, it's a channel where you know there's a bit well, it's mostly, well, it is all probably about 95%, you know, figure painting and of different descriptions and scale modelling. As I say, I enjoy both subjects, and it's nice. It's not very nice of you to stop by and taking a look. As I say, it is appreciated, and you know, hopefully, you know, we've got a fair old while to run with the channel yet. So, and there'll be different models and figures and whatever coming up. I've got some 1/35 scale figures to do at some stage. It really is just clearing the decks. I'm up to my neck in Napoleonic painting commission at the moment for the War Games figures. So obviously I'm having to put some time into that. Oh, the 1/35 scale 38T that my good Mara Greg Riley sent me to build. A lovely kit. I can't thank Greg enough for that. I've been doing a bit in the evenings on that, and you'll get an update probably either this week or more than likely the weekend when I've done a bit more to it. But that's coming along fine. We haven't reached the dreaded tracks yet, but we will do pretty soon. So we'll see. But yeah, as for aircraft, I've got a couple of helicopters in the stash that I showed at the beginning of the pandemic. I did start doing the MI8 and then stopped because I was just feeling a bit underconfident with things, seam lines and that. But I will be returning to those pretty soon. I might even actually crack on with the Mi-8 as a next aircraft build, because I've just started working on the cockpit and things, so you never know, you might see the Mi-8 turning up fairly quick. Right guys, look after yourselves. Again, thank you very, very much for all your support. It really is kind of you, and I appreciate it. Look after yourselves. If you're in your model building, you crack on, enjoy whatever subject you're sticking together. If you're figure painting, keep those brushes moving. Look after yourselves, guys.